Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kizma. Today's episode is Rewind with Ryan Lee. Ryan Lee is an amazing human and entrepreneur, and his latest project is all about the Superbar Rewind. I can't wait for you to listen to this episode. He has so many insights on creating a positive, happy life, how to create success, and really what it means to live with purpose and passion. Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kizma, bringing you ancient wisdom for modern day success so that you can have the mindset to get your life and business set.
As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the podcast, take a quick second to hit the subscribe button in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. If you want to get the inside info for this and every episode, as well as some free gifts, go to illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. And now let's dive in to get your mindset for your life and business set.
Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kizma. I'm Kizma, and we are so excited for this episode. As you all know, we have a special guest on maybe once a month. And the person we're going to be talking to today is someone that just completely blew my mind when I met him in person, and I've been following him since. And there's just so much cool stuff to talk about when we bring him on. However, before we do that, Nick, I just want to check in with you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm fantastic. And it seems like you seem to be out and about and meeting all these amazing people.
I do get out there.
I feel like maybe I should be getting out there a little bit. I feel like I might be hiding out a little bit.
You feel like you've been a little sneaky hermit?
Yes, I am. My hermitude is
time to get out.
Starting to come out.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm inspiring you.
I am inspired, and I'm always excited to meet one of the people that you've met, especially all these East Coasters. It's really cool.
This is the benefit when I say to you, "Hey, I'm going to New York for 10 days," and you're like, "Okay." I really appreciate you not like pouting.
I don't pout about that. Yeah,
you don't.
No, I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah, I get my little time in my space. That's a funny thing. It's a trait that my mom and I share is all the time. And it wasn't like in a bad way, but she's like, "Ooh, your dad's going away hunting," and she'd get kind of excited about, the time that space that she would have.
Well, I'm hunting for different things.
Yes. But, you're not out there, sitting
and
in the forest.
You have something cool coming up. In fact, we're both going to be at this 4-day training next week with Energy Mastery.
The 4-day core. The 4-day core training is a pretty intensive experience, and we've got a full house, which is super exciting. And I always get jazzed about these events.
Yeah.
Just to take a deep dive, we're going to have, I think, all of our teachers there, as well as many people who are either brand new to Energy Mastery, which is exciting for them because this is a huge step in, or people who are new to that level of training, which is a much deeper level. So cool. I never know what's going to happen. And I'm always really excited, and I'm super excited.
We've got Nicola coming in from Australia for the training.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be a cool week, but all right, we'll share more about that on another podcast, I'm sure. For now, I want to bring in Mr. Ryan Lee. I want to just share with our listeners. I met Ryan through a friend mentor of mine, Chris Winfield. We've had him on the podcast. And Ryan did this kind of hot seat thing for our businesses. And you know me, like when I see a brain that is phenomenal and working really, really fast, like at this rapid, brilliant rate, I get super excited. And it was like he was just diving into everybody's soul and mind and figuring out their message. So he's got some cool things that we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to bring him on. Ryan, welcome to Illumination Podcast, and thank you for being here.
I am excited. Kizma, Nick, we're going to have some fun. And you know what? I'm going to be bringing the woo. Oh, baby, come on.
So you feel like you're in a safe place where you can woo it out? Like your friends don't let you do that in Connecticut?
They do not like it in New Canaan, Connecticut. They're not down with the woo. So we're going to have some fun.
I love it. Well, why don't you share with us what's going on right now in your life? I know there's a lot of things we want to talk about, but you've got this new entry into your life and business, and it's called the Rewind Superbar. And yes. I'd love to start with this story around this so people really know what's happening around Rewind.
Well, yeah. So I've been, I started as an entrepreneur a long time ago, almost 20 years ago, while I was working full-time in a children's rehab hospital. And I've had some really big ups. And then about 8 years ago, I started to have some downs, really big downs, where it started with my mom, who I was really close with, was diagnosed with cancer and passed away after 3 months. She was just 63, and it kind of devastated my family. Right about that time, we had a nutrition company. We went from millions of dollars a month in revenue to like millions of dollars in debt almost overnight. Just a lot of reasons. One being one of our top promoters left and took everyone with them. But anyway, so it started to affect everything. And my wife and I had just had our fourth child, and all our kids were young. So at that time they were 5, 3, 1, and the baby. So, all this stress was happening. And then I started to gain weight because as a dad, when the kids have freaking chicken fingers, whatever they're eating, there's a little extra on the plate. You grab a chicken finger once in a while.
I get it.
And the chicken fingers add up, and mac and cheese.
Times 4.
Oh yeah, times 4. Forget it. So I went from a guy being a former, I was captain of my track team. I was a strength and conditioning guy working with Yale football, to like 35 pounds overweight. My joints started to hurt, and it took about 6 months for doctors to figure out what it was. And it was an autoimmune disorder called psoriatic arthritis. And the doctor said, "You need to go on chemo." I said, "Hell no, doc."
Oh, wow.
So I said, "I'm going to woo the shit out of this." So I figured out, so I went on this kind of just up and down journey for the past few years. And then I finally started to turn things around with my business, relationships. I stopped traveling. And then the health, I'm like, you know what? That's it. It was about 18 months ago. The weight ballooned back up. My joints started to hurt. And I said, I need to figure out what's going on. I need a system. So it just came to me. It's like win the morning, because it's about routine. I know there are people listening who have their routine. And for some of you, it might be, okay, every day I'm going to meditate for 20, 30 minutes at this time, or I'm going to do yoga, or I'm going to walk, or whatever that thing is. For me, it was like, okay, what's the morning thing nutritionally? And with 4 kids, I don't have a lot of time. I like smoothies, but I don't have time to buy frozen crap. I didn't have time. Too much. I don't have time for blenders. I gotta grab a freaking bar. So I went to the
Vitamix is not fast enough.
I can't. I'm from New York originally. I don't have time for Vitamix their crap. Okay. It's cool, but not for me. So I bought like 30 different bars, and every day I would try a different bar. And it actually, it's funny. I started to lose weight because I would have a bar in the morning, and then it would kind of give me momentum, and then I'd have a good salad for lunch. So even though but the bars I didn't like. The protein bars, what I found was they all had, not all, most of them had artificial sweeteners, or they said no sugar, but you look and it's all sugar alcohol. So it's great, no sugar, but you're in the toilet every 5 minutes. A great bar. Or the green the green bars are good for you, but they taste like grass. Like it was just awful. The fruit bars tasted good because they were sweet, but it was all sugar.
All sugar.
So I'm like, why is there not a bar that has greens, that has fruit, that has good protein, that's not whey protein? Because with autoimmune, you really shouldn't have dairy. It causes inflammation. Human beings just in general really shouldn't have dairy. It's not really good for us. So I said, why is there not a bar that does this? And that's where a little spark. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I create one? And that's what kind of led to this, where I am now. We just launched this new company called Rewind about 4 weeks ago. And like, it's going great, like selling thousands of bars, but it's not even about the money, because I'm going to be completely transparent. You really don't make bars. You really don't make a lot of money with bars.
I remember you talked about that. Yeah.
They're so thin, like razor thin. So to me, and I've been blessed over the years because I've come back and everything's good. So it's not, this isn't a money thing for me. This is just, I was excited to build something that's going to help people. And the testimonies we're getting, and people saying, Ryan, I love it. Every morning I have your bar. It has 7 grams of fiber. It holds me over for a few hours, and I'm feeling great. It's been fun. And I wanted to make this company fun. I love playing. I want everyone to have fun, and it's called Rewind. And we definitely lean into some of the nostalgia and rewind, rewinding cassettes, rewinding VHS tapes, rewinding the years. I talk a lot about kind of fun music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And we just play. Like we just want to play. And it's funny. I was originally saying we're a health company. And then right before we launched, I said, we're an anti-aging company. And then about a week ago, I wrote an email to the list, and I'm like, you know what? Rewind is about more than anti-aging. It's about, I want you to like think of some stuff you used to do and just be happy. And I said, that's it. We're a happiness company. and it just felt right.
Yeah. And you can see it comes through in everything that you do.
We get this box. It's like a boom box, guys. Like we'll make sure there's links and everything that show us, but you get your own little like personal boom box.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're almost done with our bars. We're ordering more.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're really good, actually.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it had to.
I was pleasantly surprised because I'm with you. Like I've tried all the different bars and they either taste horribly or they've got weird stuff in it. And I'm just like, all right, well.
These are so yummy.
Yeah, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it because I know it's good for me, but I'm not really into this.
Right.
But this one was different. Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Well, no, I appreciate that. And I knew it could be the healthiest bar in the world. If it doesn't taste good, people aren't going to eat it.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's what I felt was compelling from you when I met you in person. And even as you're talking now, and it just speaks to it like your comeback. And when you talk about losing millions of dollars, I know that the entrepreneurs listening are like, holy crap, how'd he come out of that? But there's a sense of you create a passion and you go with it. And it's kind of non-negotiable, I feel like, for you.
Yeah.
And would you say that happened after your mother's passing? Did you always have that? And has that been a part of you or did it happen after?
I think it's funny. I definitely hit the lottery with my parents. There's no doubt. And my parents were together up until she passed. And just having, I was just so blessed to have two great parents who really made me believe in myself that I could accomplish anything. And I was allowed to just do things and try and fail. And then I felt like it was just never an option. Even both of my grandfathers, one of my grandfathers had, they both came from nothing. They, both lived in ghettos, both were in World War II. One grandfather kind of built a big business. He was a developer and they bought a house on Long Island. Everything was great. And all of a sudden everything fell apart. And overnight, in the middle of the night, he had to pack up my dad and his brother and my grandmother and move and sneak out of their house in the middle of the night and move to Rockland County and move into a little apartment building because he went bankrupt overnight. And, but then it took him years. He got back up and he rebuilt and he built like a big business and he owned nursing homes when he passed away. And my other grandfather just worked and worked. And, you just, I don't know, maybe it's in my DNA. You're going to have setbacks and you just got to have confidence it's going to work out. And I think also at a career, my first 6 years working in a children's hospital, working with these kids, I got to see everything. And these kids in pain and they had cerebral palsy and spina bifida, and they come spend 6 months at the hospital because they had surgery and they get physical therapy all day, and seeing how much they struggled and how much physical pain they were in, but they never gave up. Like these kids were so friggin' brave. So what the hell do I have to complain about?
Right.
I send an email and the open rate was 10% lower. Big deal, right? Big friggin' deal. Oh, my Facebook only got 3 likes. Boo hoo. At least I can walk. So
it's really such a perspective change when you're around someone who's truly struggling to live. And I love the story of your grandfather. It's like, I think when one meets success and they see the possibility, even if there's a downturn, even when things go, it's possible. It's like it's already been a proven fact. And I think sometimes our world pulls us out of that. And it's like, oh, the new norm is you failed. No, it's possible to succeed. It just creates that resiliency and keep facing forward. And like you said, it really, there's a faith factor in that.
Yeah, it is. You just got to believe it's going to work out. And again, what's the worst that happens? And that's why I'm also conservative. I didn't, with this new company, I didn't put my entire future on the line. I didn't mortgage our house. I was smart. I took a calculated risk, but what's the worst? On my deathbed, am I really going to think? But no, I know my main number one thing is my family, and that's it. And if they're happy and healthy, everything else is fine. I never, ever cared about the stuff, the things, the cars. I could care less if I lived in a little studio apartment. I don't care. It never drove me. I like to wake up and be charged and know I'm making a difference and helping people, and kind of that just coming from a place of service. So life has no choice. I'm gonna do it.
Well, when something like that happens, like when just your business world just turns upside down like that, I know that, certainly nobody gets into business to go out of business, or to have something like that happen. One of the things about business and life in general, but business in particular, is business is about profit and loss, and these things do happen. So I know how disturbing that can be and how upsetting in life. And what I'm wondering is a couple things. First is like, well, like what were your biggest takeaways from that experience? And secondly is, what do you do to really insulate yourself from taking that hit, from maybe detaching from that, or from allowing yourself to just take it in stride and keep on towards your highest mission without getting, really derailed by that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, like Kismet just said, it's perspective. Like it's perspective. It's not going to kill me. But what I do is, tactically speaking, I give myself about 5 or 10 minutes to get pissed off. Right. So whatever happens, I do a promotion and it bombs, or the video guy is a day late and we missed the deadline. Okay. I don't live in a fantasy land to be like the universe. I don't do that. Okay. Because you could manifest all day long. You're not going to manage to manifest like a winning lotto ticket. Like you're going to have to actually do it.
You got to take action.
You have to. And I love the spirituality stuff. Like listening to Wayne Dyer. That's like my, that's like my version of Beethoven. That's my classical music. So I love that stuff. But you still have to do something. So I give myself about 5 minutes and get really pissed off. I can't believe you did that. I'm so annoyed. Punch the wall, whatever you got to do. Maybe you go for a walk or run or do push-ups. You accept the anger. I'm angry. I'm mad. Then you let it go. You breathe. Okay. Now what do I do? Like, what's the next step? How do I make sure this mistake doesn't happen again? Maybe if it's a videographer, you have a different person, or you have a different system, or you give more time, whatever that thing is, so you don't repeat the mistake and you move on. And what I always teach my kids, the number one lesson, and they could repeat this to you, especially because I coach a lot of their sports, is you get back up. In life, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have challenges. You're going to get your butt kicked. They all play. My oldest is in high school and she's in varsity tennis. I said, Jordan, you're going to win some matches and you're going to lose. And it's fine. And if you lose, you get back up. You get angry for a few minutes and you figure, okay, why did you lose? Well, because she kept beating me on the drop shot. Okay, well, what can we do next time to make sure she doesn't beat in the drop? Well, I could lob more. Okay, so maybe you lob to the back. So now we just continuously refine and improve, and you just get better. But you have to be prepared. You have to know that things are going to happen. It just is, and you roll with it as best you can. You get angry, you get pissed, and you get back up. Because what choice do we have, really?
Right.
What's the choice? You either that, or you curl up and you live a miserable life.
That's interesting because it's kind of a fine line sometimes of like, well, you don't want to live in that imaginary future where anything could go wrong at any minute and destroy it all, because like that's kind of, doom and gloom. Right. But at the same time it's an objective recognition that, life happens, man. And
absolutely.
humans are #humans, and things are going to go the way that they're going to go, and to really be prepared to take that in stride, So I think there's kind of a fine line, or maybe even a little bit of a dichotomy there.
Right. And yeah, of course, you don't want to wake up every morning like, what's going to happen? Am I going to get hit by a drunk driver? Like, of course not.
Better eat another rewind bar.
No. But you also, I just call it living in reality, right? Like it's reality. Like things are going to happen. You don't expect the worst to happen, but you're prepared. It was funny, I was just interviewed in a podcast a couple hours ago. I was talking about, I love bringing up movies, Rocky, right? Like Rocky trained, he trains for his fight. Right?
Do you remember that first one? Oh my God.
Oh, Rocky 1. Oh, they're all good. I even love 4 when he fought Drago. But Rocky prepared, and he knew in the match he's still going to get hit, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to prepare. And I look at even like entrepreneurs as a business, and life in general, like just train physically, mentally, like get yourself ready for life. And so many of us wake up, we're like, and the first thing we do is we eat donuts, we eat crap, we don't exercise, we complain, we go onto the news, we post about, about politics and calling the other side names and this one and libtard and all this kind of stuff. And it's just negative. So just take care of yourself mentally, physically, smile, write down what you appreciate. Just write down one thing. Hey, today I'm grateful for my spouse or my partner or my child or my job or the fact I have running water in my house. And you get a little routine going, you feel good, and you walk out with your eyes wide open. But let's attack the day.
I love that. I was actually talking with Chris Winfield yesterday, and we were talking about how, we love to manifest. The universe does bring amazing things, and we've got to be in action. And sometimes those actions, I share this with my students. It's like, sometimes you got to go up the mountain, down the other side, and do it again until you actually arrive to what it is you desire. And that whole journey creates such resiliency and a sense of preparation for where you land. Like it's just like you said, building the muscle, building the mental stamina, the emotional stamina, all of that. It's like, I don't know about you, but with some of the entrepreneur world where they say it's easy and effortless, I don't believe that. I think it's bullshit.
Further from,
could you share? Could you talk on that?
Yeah, it's funny. I have a little mastermind group I run. I don't even promote it. And we had our first online class 2 weeks ago. And that's the first thing I told them. I'm going to just be straight with you. This isn't about having a laptop and sitting on the beach. By the way, who the hell does laptops on the beach with the sand and the heat? I couldn't think of a more uncomfortable. I'd be so paranoid.
Your hands sweating all over the keyboard. It's terrible.
I know, my New York Jewish paranoia, like sand's going to get in there. It's going to be, I can't see the screen. My kid's going to say, Daddy, and disaster. I couldn't think of anything. But I said, the reality is it's the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. There's nothing that comes close. So just be prepared. And I said, and some of you might not make it. Like there are going to be some of you who go through this journey and at the end realize, you know what? I just don't got it. Like I'm not willing to do what it takes. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. And that's okay. That stuff drives me crazy. When they kind of preach that unrealistic, it's so easy. Now I think it's simple. I think the process is simple, but it's hard. And there's a real difference. Eating right is simple. Let's have some, good lean protein, maybe a good piece of fish and vegetables. You're good. You're friggin' good. Like you're good to go, but not so easy. Not easy when you're at a movie theater and you smell the popcorn. But I also like my nutrition is, we talk about rewind in the 80s. I live by the 80s rule. 80% of the stuff I eat, it's going to be good stuff. It's going to be fruits and vegetables and good lean protein. Like I'm going to eat good. 20% of the time, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I'm going to enjoy it. Some people have to go all in or all out. But if you say to me, Ryan, you could never, ever have a soft, warm chocolate chip cookie the rest of your life, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a freaking problem. Or you have to go to the movies and you can never have popcorn again.
Yeah, no, that's not living life.
Then what's the point, right?
Yeah.
You could never have a slice of pizza again. Come on. Now look, obviously if you have like something like celiac and you can't, or you're going to be sick, that's a different story. But it's not going to kill you. I remember one time one of my friends is a nutrition she goes a little over the top and she showed a picture of, a box of Cheerios. And look, Cheerios are not the best thing in the world for kids. Oh, they're not. But she's like, it's a box of poison. I'm like, yeah, you're getting maybe you're going a little too, it's not Clorox. So anyway, I digress.
I love that. I really love that.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit like the 80s. So did you grow up in the 80s? I don't know I'm not asking necessarily your physical age, but how old your human is, but why the 80s, man?
My physical age is I was born in 72, so I'm 40. As of this recording, I'm 45.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we grew up in the exact same era there.
Yeah. So like when I was young, I remember the late 70s. I remember the end of disco, and I remember having a Bee Gees poster on my wall and watching Grease. And then but my formative years were definitely 80s and like high school in the 80s. I just look back with fond memories. It goes back to I was I hit the lottery. Like I had the best childhood. I really did. Great parents. I lived in a neighborhood there were 110 homes. It was all kids my age. And like all I did after school, I'd get on my bike and there'd be like 20 of us just riding our bikes and playing. It was really, really cool.
So
Look, there's a lot of great stuff. What's that, Nick?
I was just going to say, you think about all the unsafe things that we did as kids that were like in this day and age. It's like, oh my God, like you're like Child Protective Services to be called on you.
I mean, I remember we used to set up forts. They were building houses around the street, and we used to have rock fights.
Yes.
And now it would be caught on social media and like shut down. It's like the stuff we used to get away with.
Would be arrested. And I remember there were no cell phones. So
we don't hit anybody in the face, right? That was a big one. Don't hit them in the face because we don't want any marks.
Still, I don't know if we had that rule in New York, but I remember very vividly, like we'd ride our bikes until and my mom would stand outside and I'd hear Ryan, and then I went home. You can hear your parents calling you, and that was it. And look, there's a lot of great things about technology. The fact we have these little supercomputers in our pocket and GPS, and I could look up a movie, or I could on one click from any song. There's some really cool things. But I also look, and we look. I know there were some bad things too back then. But I look and I see all my kids, and especially teenagers. They're out. We were out last night. I took my family out to dinner, and we're looking. There was a table of teenagers sitting across from us. There were 4 of them. The whole meal, they had their heads down on their phones.
I know.
And it's kind of sad. It's like, and my oldest daughter is in high school, said, Dad, that's how it is, like at lunch and the bus. I said, but then what's the point of going out if you're not talking to each other? Like so I feel kind of, I feel badly.
It's interesting. My daughter's home from, she just does a lot of traveling. She's 23 and luckily she's a book reader. I raised her in Hong Kong for about 8 years and she just read. She uses a phone, but not that much. And she was commenting on how she feels like the generation under her, the cell phones are like, it's part of their human body. Like she goes, I see it as a tool. My generation, we use it, we love it, but it's like, it's part of them. And I was pondering this. I was like, what's the cycle? What is this telling us something? Is it just one of those things that we're going to have to work through because the human connection is going to suffer to be able to show up and have a job interview, if they even do that anymore, in 5 and 10 years, it's really going to be fascinating.
I know. I don't know.
It's really something to observe.
I know. I'm trying to raise my kids the right way. We even, maybe we go to the extreme, but my wife and I, we have a safe in our house, and that's where all the electronics are.
I love that.
So everything's locked up, and they use it when we say they can. And even my daughter, every night we take the cell phone away from her. She's not keeping it all night. Like that's it. Yes. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. And there have been days where you're going to school, you don't have your phone today. She's like, "What?" I'm like, that's it. She's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I can't go without my phone." I'm like, "Well, you're going to have to. What if there's an emergency?" "Well, there's a school and they have a phone and you can call us."
Right. This is so great for parents who listen, because I know that I've heard from many parents who are like, my son or daughter took the phone in the middle of the night, or they're upset or whatever. And I think we've entered an age where sometimes the parents are worried that the kids are upset at them. We kind of have to let them be upset. Like we're not the best friend, we're the parent.
Exactly. We're not the best friend, we're the parent. And this is the rule. And we have a safe, and you're not going to know the combination.
The safe, I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And when you're 18 and you're out on your own, whatever, you could do whatever you want. But for now, these are our rules, and this is where we're going to do our best to raise you as an independent, well-adjusted person who doesn't need the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I even notice it in myself. Like if I lose my phone or something like that.
You last night?
No, it's like you notice, you're like, oh, like where's my phone? And you have that moment, but then I remember sometimes I'll forget to, because my phone is it's in the bedroom at night, but it's on airplane mode. And every once in a while I'll forget to flip it on in the morning, and I have like I might have my phone with me, but it's not doing anything. And I have like the best days. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, man. It's so quiet, you know?
Well, the first thing I do when I get home, I shut my phone off and put it in the kitchen. I don't keep it on me. I don't keep it in my bedroom. I want to make sure I'm 100% present for my kids. So I just shut it off, and it feels so good to not have it with you.
I know. It's so great.
I like just getting away from things. And, I think your best idea is the biggest clarity. Cause you said, before, like my brain, it moves so fast, but I spend a lot of time just thinking, just like, let me have some open space. Even my calendar, I block it off every morning from whatever. You cannot make an appointment with me, an interview or anything before noon. That's my thinking, deep work time. And that's it. And it's written in stone. You cannot book an appointment before noon with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that.
I'm going to think about that.
Tell us a bit about when you started in the entrepreneurial world. It was through fitness. Is that correct?
Yes. So while I was working in the
how did that come about? Because you were at the children's. Yeah.
Right. I was at the Children's Hospital, but I was on the side. I was a part-time trainer. And I worked mostly with young athletes. So I would, this was like 25 years ago. So I would go to their houses and train young athletes. I worked with tennis players. I was on the USTA training team. So I trained young competitive tennis players. I even trained, I was creative. I went to an ice skating place and I trained their figure skaters, which is ironic because I can't freaking skate. And these were like elite level skaters. I really can't skate. But I did off ice training. So I rented a little conference room and I would do jump training and plyometric training. So I did that for years. And this part-time training business was taking off. So it was like end of 98, early 99. The internet was just kind of coming into its own. I said, let me have a website to promote my training company. I was terrible at technology. So I had my neighbor, Jonathan, he was 12 years old. I gave him $20 and he helped me set up my website. And I just wrote articles. And that's where it all began. And because this was before YouTube or Facebook, and you couldn't, internet was slow. You couldn't host videos and you could barely put pictures on because they would take
like AOL, right?
Yeah, I was on Prodigy, and you couldn't download pictures. So it was lots of text articles, how to run faster. And it was the first of its kind. And then I started selling videotapes, sports training videotapes and training equipment and medicine balls. And it just kind of, that was my first passion and my first love.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. And you're still very physically fit.
I'm back.
Work out.
I'm back. I was, I always worked out a little bit, but the problem is my nutrition started to get pretty bad. And I was just eating like just garbage.
Right.
So I was definitely gaining weight. I thought I was kind of fit, but now when I look back at pictures from a few years ago, I could see I was all puffy and I just didn't look right. But now I'm back. I'm the same weight and the same pant size I was in high school.
Wow. Yeah. However, I bet your workout is different.
My workout's different. I used to focus more back then. Even back then, we called it the mirror muscles. The mirror muscles are the ones you see when you look in the mirror, your biceps, your chest, typical guy stuff. So I would do curls and bench press. Now my workout is just maintenance. It's 20 minutes a day. I do it at home and it's a combination. It's because I have the kids and I'm so busy. Right. It's efficient. It's 20 minutes. I do a combination of treadmill, high intensity walking. So I don't even have to run. And I go at 10% incline, 4 miles an hour for 2 minutes. I jump off the treadmill and then I'll do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. I do sets of those. I get back on the treadmill and I repeat that for, it's about 20, 25 minutes. And that's it every single day. That's it.
The consistency is such a big piece. This is what I'm getting from you, Ryan. Like you have so much consistency in how you view life, you live life, you build your businesses. It's, facing forward, shaking off the negative stuff if it happens. Did your parents demonstrate that for you? Or is it something that you came onto this planet with the ability to be consistent?
I've gotten more consistent and organized over time. You know what it is? When you know your big goal, the big thing that motivates you, all your decisions become much more clear. So I know my number one is my wife and kids. That's it. Everyone has their different things. Some people, they don't have kids and it's for them, it's traveling. For some people, it's like going to the clubs, like whatever, right? I don't judge. Yeah. For me, it's making sure I'm there physically, mentally, emotionally, everything for my family. So there's the old saying, if you want something done, ask the busiest person you know. So I have no choice. So I know if I want to be done by 3:00 so I could coach and carpool and do all that stuff, I need to be very efficient and I need to guard my time. So that was just something, and it just started to become like a routine. Well, okay, it makes sense. Let me get consistent with the morning routine and the workout. And do my days vary a little bit? Of course. And if I don't feel it, like yesterday, I was working a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I couldn't concentrate. I felt a little off. So what did I do? I went to the movies.
That's great. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to rub it into people who have to work, because believe me, I used to have a full-time job, but I went by myself. I actually had the entire theater myself. It was heaven.
What did you see?
I saw, what's the name? Was it Ant-Man and the
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah.
Yeah, we almost saw that. We just went to see The Incredibles the other night, and that was the other one that we were kind of like, ooh, maybe.
Oh, and it was good. It was just a fun movie.
It's like a big pattern interrupt, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Mindless 2 hours. And I came back and then I felt refreshed, recharged my batteries and did some work. Yeah. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but what happened?
I love a good superhero movie.
Oh, nothing. I love any movie, really. So I am a movie fanatic, but I knew that it reminds me when I used to work and have a full-time job. I remember if we had vacation coming up and I had a deadline due Friday, you would get whatever you're going to get done by the time, because you have vacation coming. So you're going to work and you're going to be as efficient as possible. And what I found was over time, the calendar was the big one. Blocking off, time blocking, getting everything in the calendar. I don't pick up the phone when people call. Like I don't want to wake up and check email and play defense all day. So it's about figuring out what your big why is. And then with that, you back it up and you say, okay, well, if my whole thing is about the family doing this stuff and I want to grow my business, what's the number one thing, the one big thing that's going to move my business forward the most? And I do that the first thing in the morning. So it's just, it's like this combination of being structured, but kind of common sense. But I think everyone gets distracted. And every entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form has some type of like entrepreneurial ADD, right? We have so many ideas. We can't stop. This structure helps harness that, but also harness it in creative ways and giving yourself permission to kind of go down some little paths as long as you bring yourself back. Yesterday, giving myself permission to go to the movies and have popcorn. And then I come back, giving myself permission. Okay, we're building Rewind, but I have this little idea for this online treadmill thing. I'll give myself 20 minutes to kind of mentally play. So you don't have to force yourself into the other thing and then feel like guilty and like use up all your willpower all day.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a big, no, you bring up such a great point of like setting that little boundary around it to say like, okay, all right, like here it is. Like I'm going to do this just for this little bit amount of time. And then I'm going to get back to it so that you like the guilt thing around that sometimes gets really heavy. Like, oh, I should be doing this. And I know I should be doing that. And then you're just like, all the shoulds get super oppressive.
Yeah.
It does. And it's we talked before about entrepreneurs, the people who teach entrepreneurship, everything. It's easy, but you got to hustle. You can never watch TV if you're watching TV. But I'm grinding while you're sleeping. All this crap. And all it does is make you feel guilty. Now, with that being said, it also means you can't take it to the extreme. Like if you love football and your thing is watching 8 hours of football every Sunday, then that's cool, right? And that's your thing. That's cool. I'm not going to judge. However, what you can't then do is say, I don't have time to work on my business. You can do it and you can enjoy it, but then you can't use that excuse. Now you can say, what, I want to work on my business and I love football, so I'll just watch one football game today.
Right.
You just have to, you can't, I'll never forget this. Years ago, we were having dinner and one of my friends wanted to build an online business. So I gave him some strategies, told him what to do. I hadn't seen him in like 2 months. We go to dinner. I said, oh, how's it going? He goes, oh my God, I'm so busy. I don't have any time to do it. I started writing the book. I don't have time. I just can't, I have no time, Ryan. I have 2 kids. I have no time. I said, all right, we're eating dinner. 20 minutes later, we're talking. Somehow CNN came up. He goes, I love CNN. He goes, I watch 2 hours of CNN every night. I won't miss it.
Oh my God.
I didn't call him on it, and I don't even think he realized. So in my head, I'm like, well, because I didn't want to make it feel stupid. You do have time. It's just not your priority. And again, that's fine, but just acknowledge it. Like, people live in denial. The answer is always somewhere in the middle.
Right.
It's always somewhere in the middle. It's never like so.
There's got to be flexibility.
And that's what life is. And being a parent and being an entrepreneur, you have to be agile. You have to go with the flow and go with the punches and be like, all right, like, I'll give a little, I'll take a little, instead of being so. The minute you were so strict in everything, I need to do this workout every single day, or I can never have gluten again, or I have to be in ketosis all the time, or I've got to read 7 books a week, you lose, because you give yourself no room for wiggle, no flexibility. And the minute you don't do it, you go into this deep spiral and you feel guilty and you fall apart.
Yeah, it's so true. And then there's no integration point either. Right. There's no, it's so
there's
true.
No room for fun.
Yeah.
No. What the hell's the point?
Yeah, right. You said something really profound earlier, and it kind of circled back here as well. And I just want to highlight it and maybe dive into it a little bit more. As you said before, sometimes people at a certain point, they realize they're just not willing to do what it takes to have the business that they want. Mm-hmm. And I think that point there is just like not will. It's like the ownership of not willing to do that. And there is a thing of like, before you get into it, I've thought this myself, and in many of the things that I've taken up in my life, that, okay, well, if I had known what this was really going to take to actually be successful at this when I first started, man, I might have rethought that.
Right.
I might have given that a second thought because I just had no idea what it would be. And you just said there, talking about your friend as well, as like that priority. It's obviously just not a priority. And I think a lot of people sort of either live in denial or the self-delusion that they want it, that they're really willing to go all in, and then these other areas show up. So what sorts of things can you recommend for people to just have that really good, honest look at themselves and to be really honest and true with where they're at?
Let's say with entrepreneurship, instead of going all in and saying, this is what I'm doing, that's it, and going crazy, map it out. So I did this. I had a call with someone, I don't know, maybe it was 3-4 days ago, and they wanted to create this course. And a course, like a 6-module, blah, blah. I said, okay. I said, instead of spending $20,000 on coaches and all this kind of crap, right? Just why don't you map it out? Why don't you write down exactly what this course looks like? Like, what does module 1 look like? What are the 5 or 6 sections? Let's see if you could even come up with the 6 modules. Let's see what this looks like. Start creating. Why don't you start creating the first one? And let's see how it looks. Let's see how it progresses. I think people start getting stuck and they don't break it down to these little things. So I said, just try a little thing. If you want to run the marathon, okay, instead of going first day and trying to run 5 miles and getting disappointed, let's run a quarter mile. Let's go to the track and jog a lap. Even if you can do more, let's just jog 1 lap and let's see how it goes. And then tomorrow, let's jog another one. And let's just see if you really, really want this. But you also need someone to tell you the truth. And I think that's why anyone who I've coached over the years, most people have had success because I'm always honest with them in the beginning, because I tell them exactly what it's going to take. And even in my own business, when I hire people, I always say to them, I do not want a yes man or a yes woman. That's not what I want. You to just tell me the truth. Unfortunately, most people are not told the truth. So I think it's taking little small steps in whatever you're going to do. Take a step back. Look, evaluate. Okay, does this feel good? Great. Okay. Again, nutrition. Don't say, I'm never going to eat sugar, dairy, wheat, gluten again for the rest of my life. Start with one thing. Start with one thing. You know what? Today, I have, maybe you're drinking 3 sodas a day. Okay. So tomorrow, just drink 2. Let's drink 2 and do that for 2 weeks. And after that, go down to 1 and let's see how you do. That's the biggest reason people fail. They try to go all in with one thing and they try to completely change your life overnight. And it's really, really hard to do.
And it just sets them up for almost a failure. And then, like you said, if they don't know how to get back up, it feels pretty heavy. Oh, such good advice. I love this. Hey, I know we're coming close to being out of time, but I have the question that I love asking our guests, and I'm sort of excited for your answer.
Oh, no.
The question is, do you have anything that's been percolating in that brilliant mind of yours that you want to do, but you haven't told anybody or you haven't told most people about it yet?
I love these little workouts that I do. I've people don't realize I have my master's in exercise physiology. Like I was a fitness guy. Like that was my thing, and training and periodization of program. And I trained Yale football. Like I love training.
You were the guy.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. But now that I'm getting older and I don't want to go high intensity, all this crazy stuff, I just want something that's going to make me feel good and keep the weight off. These little workouts I've been doing for the past year and a half, just 20 minutes, it's been life-changing. And look, my overall philosophy for fitness is if you like it and you can do it consistently, do it. As long as it obviously doesn't hurt you. Like if you love CrossFit and it works for you and you feel good, you're not getting hurt, awesome. If you like yoga, it works, great. Like whatever, right? I'm just saying what I found feels really good and it's easy to do. So I was thinking of building an entire streaming platform just doing these type of workouts and then making it all free for everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Just to freaking change the world.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you got your first user right here. I could totally use something like that. It's interesting. Like as soon as you started talking about it, you're like, and I can do it in 20 minutes. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah. So cool. So I'm thinking about how that might play out. Even if at the beginning it's just kind of a beta group, but again, all free.
But you know what else?
Change people's lives.
I know. And you know what else you could, I come from the perspective of you're going to give, and then you give an option for people to give back, which could be like a donate to one of your charities of choice or one of their, like, cause we give and receive. And so that might be kind of cool. It's free, but they can also donate somewhere to.
Yeah, because what we're doing is within this, because I set up for Rewind, I set up a whole facility here. We do all of our own fulfillment and everything. I write handwritten notes on each box.
I know you do.
Oh, I love doing that. I love it. And what we're doing is I've been volunteer teaching. I teach entrepreneurship at a local school. It's a school for inner city kids, youth at risk. So they're teens, they're the kids who couldn't hack it in high schools in Stanford. So I've been teaching them entrepreneurship. So now I talked to the director who I've known for years, and we're going to do a joint program where they get a month of classroom in the school. They'll do case studies on Netflix and business and entrepreneurship, and then they'll spend the day here and Rewind, and we'll like open up and show them real, e-commerce, how to build a business, fulfillment, marketing, and maybe do paid internships here. So that's going to be all free for them. So that's
amazing.
That's fun. I love doing that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That's so exciting. And where can people get their Rewind bars? So
they can go to rewindtoday.com, and we are going to be, when is this going live? This is
probably 2 weeks.
Okay. So depending, we should have the site up then as well. We're going to try something where we're going to let everyone get 3 bars for free. And that's going to be free super bars, FREE superbars.com.
Great URL.
Yeah.
Nice.
freesuperbars.com. So go there and try 3 bars for free.
Oh, amazing. Ryan, you're such a gift to humanity. I really it's true.
Thank you. I'll you know what? I will gladly accept it. Thank you.
I'm so glad you are. And we didn't really have a chance to talk about your wife, but for some reason she's just been floating through my mind this whole time, because I bet she really brings some magical energy and support to you and the family. So I don't know if there's anything you want to say about her to our listeners, because I can tell she's pretty awesome.
Oh, she's amazing. We've been together. We met in college, and we were best friends first before we even started dating. So we've been together 25 years. And, she was with me through the ups, through the downs, even before, we got really serious. Like in college, my degree was recreation, my undergraduate degree. And I said, Janet, look, I'm just going to let you know, like, we'll have a great life, but we're never going to be rich. Like we're never going to make a lot of money, because I'm going to be working at Children's Hospital. I'm probably going to make $25,000-$30,000 a year. And and she's like, it doesn't matter. And she has her PhD in psychology, and for years she was making more than me, and she's been just a great mother and so supportive. Yeah. But you know what I love about her most? Because she knows me so well, she always tells me the truth. And she'll say immediately, I don't like that. No, I don't like it. And she keeps me grounded. I remember, like, I would come home, here I am. I was just at an event. I spoke in front of 2,000 people, standing ovation. Ryan, you're the best. We love you. Yeah. I come home. She's with the 4 kids. I walk in. She goes, your turn. And just like that, boom, like I'm back. And it just brings me right back to where I need to be. So yeah, she's a
grounding force.
Absolutely. Always a grounding force. And I'm blessed.
That's great. And before we sign off, is there anything our listeners can do for you to support you?
Go try the bars, freesuperbars.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like them, help spread the word. And if you don't like them, I don't really care what you think.
Don't say it.
Keep your opinion to yourself.
Yeah, please do. Everyone, just don't tell them. I do want to insert, I've been watching the emails come in. So it's not just a great bar, everyone. I'm getting these cool emails from Ryan and his team, and they're insightful.
It's all from me. I write every one of them.
I love them. And it's just like, it's not your typical marketing. There's a message, and I've been opening them and reading them because I'm like, it's from this guy. I know it's good. I'm going to read this.
I appreciate it. I love every morning just kind of sitting down and writing a little something, a little story, something just to, that idea of just make people happy. And maybe it's a little tip. Today was about a workout. The other day it was about taking a walk, like just little things. I'm not going to hammer you with buy this product and buy that. It's like, here's some good stuff. And oh, by the way, if you want a bar, here. And if not, that's cool too.
Yeah. That's it. Love it. Ryan Lee, making the world a better place, one bar at a time.
One super bar at a time.
One super bar. Yes.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was fun.
Well, thank you for being here. We so appreciate you, and looking forward to connecting again in the future, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Hey, thanks for jamming with us today. And if you enjoy Illumination Podcast, please go ahead and share it with someone you love. Give us a rating, review, download our podcast. And remember, you can find us at illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. Talk to you soon. Namaste.